Well, hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I just wanted to kind of go over today some sheath and handle scale options for your ESEE knives. That's your Izulas, your Izula 1s, Izula 2s, 3s, and 4s. This is not going to be a review over the actual knife. There's a million of those out there, and that's not what this is for. I just wanted to show you guys some different options that you have in terms of handle scales and how you mount these. They're highly configurable. You can pretty much choose however you want to mount them. There's a way, and I'm just going to show you guys how I've decided to run a couple of these setups. I've always kind of been a folder knife guy. In fact, I still have this Ifengrau knife in my pocket that I carry all the time now, and this is, you know, just a kind of a cheap knockoff China blade, but it's the one that I find I keep in my pocket the most. I still love it. It's probably 6 or 7 months old now, and I still keep it in there. But when I do want to carry a fixed blade, which I'm kind of starting to get more used to, I went the ESEE route. The Izula is probably the most common fixed blade knife, I suppose. And it comes skeletonized, so it's just basically a flat bar piece of metal with a blade and a skeletonized handle, and it's not very comfortable, and I don't really like it that way. So I've decided to test out some different scales and some different mounting options, and again some different sheaths that I found from some other different places that I'm going to show you guys. So the first one, this is an ESEE 1, and I put these scales on it. These came from battlebox.com. So this one does not extend the length of the actual handle like some of these will. I'll show you, but this is just I don't even think it's G10. It's basically a very silky smooth micarta maybe, but to me it's a lot more comfortable than just the skeletonized handle. But this came from battlebox.com. This was the only color that they had. But overall, I like it a lot more than just without the scales, and it comes with the mounting hardware as well. And what I do to carry this one is I took the standard Izula sheath and I ground down all the way basically to the blade profile that's on these sheaths to give it a smaller profile to fit in my pocket. So here's a standard size ESEE sheath. Here's how I ground it down. And it just doesn't, it takes up a little less real estate in your pocket. And then what I did, I attached a paracord to the hole and attached it to this little belt loop gadget thing that I actually attached to my belt and have this thing hanging down in my pocket. So when I want to go grab this out of my pocket, you know, since this is on your belt, you just reach in and kind of pull it out and yank it. So this is how I've been carrying the Izula most of the time, is with this kind of MacGyvered apparatus that I have here. But it's worked out well. These little clips just came from Amazon. You can put it on your belt loop, on your actual belt, on your waistband if you're, you know, not wearing a belt. And I have found that this was pretty useful in the summertime when I was wearing, you know, like running shorts, something that didn't have a belt loop. I could still attach this to my waistline or the elastic in the shorts and still have this go in my pocket, and it was pretty secure. So that's one option for a sheath. The BattleBox scales again. And then here is just basically your standard Izula. I think this is in the zombie green, but this is the Paracord wrap option. And it's probably my least favorite, but it's the most economical, I guess. So I think this Izula is in zombie green, I think is what they call it. I'm not positive, but this is just a paracord wrap. You can make it wrap all the way around this finger hole. I didn't do that. I don't think I like that as much as this, but this is another option for your handle on your Izula. Again, it's probably my least favorite, my least comfortable, but it works. And this is, I haven't modified the sheath that it came with. The only thing that I've done, and these snap in pretty tight, as I made this kind of a neck knife. So with a breakaway lanyard. So I'm not ever gonna hang myself on this, but I'm just gonna use this as kind of the neck knife option if I ever want it. Let's see what else. These handle scales came direct from Amazon, and they're the Micarta. They're the rougher Micarta, and you can see they only go to the bottom of this finger hole in the end of the knife, but it still, to me, provides a little bit more grip to these little knives, and I still like it better. I still like these a lot more than without the scales. And again, these come with the stainless steel locking Chicago screws. And again, it does not come all the way out to the end, but I still think it's a better option. I think these were like $15 on Amazon. I'll try to post a link down below for these particular scales, but they're the more grippier Micarta, so they feel pretty good. And what I did for a sheath on this one, if you guys can see, I took, this all came with the knife, so you've got the back plate with the clip, and you have the front sheath. All I did was cut out a piece of leather and use Chicago screws and attach the front of the sheath, the sheath to the bottom part of the leather, cut around the leather, match the profile of the sheath, and then I attached the clip up on this piece of leather, so I can put this on my belt, and it hangs below the belt. One thing I do not like about the ESEEs is that typically when you put them in the sheath, the handle sticks up above your belt, and I don't like it jabbing into my side. To me, that's not as comfortable. So this option hangs at my belt and hangs below it, so it's not going to be hitting up here next to my waistline. To me, that's just not comfortable. But all I did was just get a piece of leather and cut out. You know, obviously you can make this as long as you want, but this is how I chose to make mine. And this hardware came with the knife. I didn't have to buy anything extra except the leather. But that's how I'm running this blade on this sheath right here, which I do like. It's pretty comfortable. So there's another option. Now, let's see. This one's pretty cool. I got this sheath off of ESEE, and the guy that I bought this from has hundreds of different colors and camo patterns and whatever, but it's really, really slimline compared and not as wide as the standard ESEE sheaths that come with. This was $18 from ESEE, and I just chose OD green, but it's really, really good quality stuff. I recommend, I'll try to remember to put the shop's name in the description, but really, really good sheath. Has a good retention. It snaps in really well, and it's just super smooth. The edges are really, really well done on this. Just really happy with this sheath. Now, the cool thing, this is an ESEE 1, so it's the shorter knife. The ESEE 2, I believe, is about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch longer maybe, but this is an ESEE 1. But these G10 scales came from the knifeconnection.com. And these scales turn an ESEE 1 into an ESEE 2 because they extend the scales out about 1 inch. So you can see where, hopefully, where the knife stops, and then the scales come out past it. And you still get the eye loop if you want it, but it adds a little bit more length to your ESEE 1, which I love. And the Knife Connection, they've got a ton of different G10 patterns. This is just the one that I picked that I thought would match the Coyote Brown the best, but the G10, it feels great. Again, it comes with the Chicago screws, pre-Loctited. I mean, it's got Loctite on the end of them, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, it turns your ESEE 1 into an ESEE 2, essentially. And they've got, again, probably 10 or 15 different patterns for this. And I really like the feel of the ESEE 2 more because, again, it adds about another inch to your handle. And so that's what these came from, the Knife Connection. And let's see, what else do I got? And again, here's another carbon fiber sheath I bought from the same guy on ESEE that I was so happy with the first one, I bought a second one. And this is just a carbon fiber version. And this is my only Izula 2. So you can see the handle goes all the way to the end of this eye hole. And if you compare it, you can see that these are both ESEE 1 and ESEE 2s, but they're both the same length because these scales from the Knife Connection make it the length of the ESEE 2. I hope that makes sense, but you can see where the knife ends on this ESEE 1, whereas the ESEE 2, it comes all the way out to here. But with these handle scales, it turns it into an ESEE 2. So that's an option if you have a bunch of ESEE 1s that you want a little bit more length, is to buy these scales from the Knife Connection. So I thought that was really cool. Really happy with these scales. And just in case you guys are wondering, on the ESEE3 and ESEE4, this is my biggest one. This is the ESEE4. Sweet little knife. I got the, I can't remember what model they call this, but it's the smooth handle one with the micarta scales. It's not the squared off with the finger choil underneath. I didn't like that one as much. This ESEE4 is a sweet knife. I'm not going to do a review on it because there's a ton of them out there, but I kind of, for the sheath, I did the same thing on this one as I did for this little Izula, and I just cut a piece of leather and I attached the sheath that the knife came with along with the back plate, the clip that the knife came with, and attached it on a piece of leather. That way I can carry this on my waist and this handle is not going to be sticking up on my side. To me, that's just not comfortable. So now this hangs down below my waistline, and this is just a piece of veg tan leather that I stained, but super simple, easy to do if you don't like your knife sticking up in your side. And that's how I have this one running. And this is an ESEE3, and I haven't touched it yet. It's probably just going to go in a backpack. But again, these are just sweet little knives. And in case you guys are wondering, again, this is not a ESEE knife review, but the size difference between the 3 and the 4, excuse me, so got the ESEE3, the ESEE4, and you can see the size difference there, hopefully. Same width, just different length. Blade's thicker on the ESEE4 though. So, just really, really cool little knives. Heavy, heavy, heavy. These are not light knives. So, beware if you're wanting to carry around all day. They're not the lightest of knives, but again, I just wanted to show you guys some options that you have out there. If you do have some Izulas or some of these ESEE3 and 4s, there's a ton of different options for sheaths, handle scales, micarta, G10. ESEE has a ton of options in terms of sheaths. If you like to do like the scout carry on your back, there's guys out there that are making scout carry sheaths. Check out ESEE. If you do not like the sheaths that the standard Izulas come with, there's a ton of different options. So, and again, if you don't want to buy any, you can do what I did and just grind it down to where it's a little bit smaller profile, and then you're stuck with that. So, again, I highly recommend these little Izula knives. They come absolutely screaming sharp. They stay sharp. They're easy to touch up. They're 1080 carbon steel, so they're real easy to maintain. But other than that, again, I hope you weren't coming here for a knife review, because that's not what the intentions of this video were. I just wanted to show you guys some different options that I found and that I use for the Izulas and for my ESEE4. So you've got a lot of options. Use your imagination, and hopefully you'll come up with something that you like. But for that, guys, that's it. That's my ESEE Izulu handle scale and sheath runaround. So anyway, guys, take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.